We started about 5 years ago now. The main reason for starting was working for another company, and they went belly up, so we decided to start up on our own from then onwards. Just started off on my own, and then as the business built, we took on a full-time employee, and then we then moved on to getting an admin lady in the office, and then we take on subcontractors as and when we need to. We do domestic, we do commercial, we do quite a lot of shop fitting as well, which obviously is a fairly large project. We do service work, about a lot. We were based in my house, but we've outgrown that massively now. So we're building a workroom that can obviously house more staff really. Before we had simPRO, we used to do everything paper-based, which was proving quite problematic really. We've had simPRO now for about 6 months, but like I said, before that we had a lot of paperwork. We had job sheets, time cards, the schedule of works. We had a lot of work to deal with. The main reason we look for simPRO is I found myself being tied more and more to the office and not being on site looking at the jobs. And we just found for us it wasn't the best use of my time. So I actively sought a piece of software that could do the quoting, the invoicing, the project management, and more really. I had a look around at different types of software, but it all seemed to be that there was an invoicing software, there was a job management software separately, there was nothing that was all in one unit really. And what we ideally wanted was one set package that anyone in the office could use, and kept tabs on the jobs it was running, where it was up to, had it been invoiced, had they paid, wanted it in one nice package really. We were quite worried about the scale of what we were taking on, but the initial meeting online was absolutely fine. That got us to ask any questions beforehand, and then when your training man came out, sat down, started right from the very basics, got us to use systems, so we knew how to navigate around it, and we found it quite user friendly. As our business is growing, I wanted to get something in from the start that can grow with us. I didn't want to wait another 5 years and then get a piece of software, and I wanted to get it in now, so as we grow it can grow with us. We use it literally as soon as the customer rings up. We input their details straight away in the system. Obviously that logs the telephone numbers, their email addresses, so we've got all the contact details there. Then if one of our staff goes out to quote the job, they've got the details, they've got the address, so they can go straight to site, bring the customer if they're not there, and then whilst they're doing the quote, obviously they can input that into the system. It's got everything they need on there, the time they think it's going to take. When we win the quote, it gets turned into a job, which obviously then we can log how the job's going, the costing of it. The lads on site use the simPRO Connect, which we find very useful, because obviously we know what the hours have done, the material they've used. You can put a note process on there, so if there's anything they want to tell us in the office, they can pop that on there. Finish the job and it goes straight into the invoicing side of it. We had a few issues with the technicians to start with, but obviously when we sit down and showed them the Connect and how to use it properly, they actually found it quite useful, and because they found it useful, they were then more inclined to use it more, rather than saying, "Oh, can we go back to the old paper?" Where they found it easy for themselves, so they went down that route. We found that very useful. The other day we was at a job and the customer queried the invoice while I was on that site. We could log onto their computer, go onto our software, and then basically show them the job sheet. They queried one part, so we could amend the invoice there and then, and reissue it there and then as well. So we found that, as well as working on the road, very useful. I find it very handy that you can just quickly go on the support website, and rather than picking up the phone and being held in the queue, you can literally type in your question and they'll ping you back an answer straight away. And we did have an issue when we was inputting into the catalogue, sent it to the support team. They didn't know, So it went up the scale a bit further, and within an hour we had an answer back from somebody higher up the scale. So yeah, very good support system. The biggest benefit has been definitely the invoicing side. Before that, we were getting to a stage where we didn't know who had chased what invoice, or who had paid, or what invoice, what invoices were owed. But with the reporting side of the software, one click it tells exactly who's paid, where they're up to, and what we do is we pass it on to our accounts, and they can chase it just by pressing a button. They've got the list and start chasing the customers. We're trying to really push at the moment to get a lot of service work within factories and the local council. We've won a few tenders at the moment, some good contracts with that. So we're really looking at pushing that side of it. So we're hoping that, like I said earlier, because we've got this software in at an early stage, it can grow with us, and obviously we can then utilise it for our service contracts. I would like to be able to have areas, so we have like a Leicester branch, if you will, or I don't know, a Colville branch, and obviously we can then have a manager with 5 electricians. He can run that side, and same thing, so they can do domestic, commercial, the service side for that area. I think the major plan, that would be the ideal really, so we can have different areas set up. I think the main thing really is that we wanted to get this implemented early on, so as the business grows, obviously we can take it with us.